All attendees are in listen-only mode.
I've got it right here. If you want to have it.
Just forward it because I don't know how everything is working.
Okay, well, good afternoon, Invita family. Welcome to Thursday. Here we are kicking off the month of January 2017. This is a big month in many ways, and a big year, and a big start to the rest of your life. So let's make it big, let's make it fun, let's make sure we're getting things going. So this is Michelle Wallace, and going to be joined by none other than
Robert Wallace.
Robert Wallace. Yay! All right, we're going to do some moving and shaking today. We've got a lot of things we're going to cover. I hope you're ready. I hope you're focused. I hope you have your computers in front of you. I hope you have access to your software. We're going to be talking about products and doing a comparison today of two of our major products that we work with here at Invita, and helping our families and helping take care of those that are sending in letter requests for someone to come out and help take care of them. If any of you have worked with our leads, this is going to be the particular products that help cover the needs of those families requesting your help. And so we're going to talk about that today and do some comparisons and help make sure you understand what is and isn't working in different scenarios here. So, but none other, before we get started, we are going to go ahead and hit through our top 5 producers for the last week. We want to see who's out there taking care of families, who already know what's going on, who's out there doing the right thing for the right people. And so let's go ahead and hit the top 5 producers. I think we'll get started with number 5, and it is...
Well, coming in at number 5, we have Kevin Coley. Kevin Coley at $3,136. Congratulations, Kevin. At number 4, we have Mr. MC Aleman with $3,675 turned in this week. Here's at number 3, a name we all know, a name that is on every single week, it seems, Mr. Arnel Guillermo out of Florida with $4,260 in production turned in for the week ending December 29th. Folks, then you have none other than Mama Rose Washington out of right here in Dallas, Texas with $4,389.12 in production. Great job, Mama Rose, and there can only be one number 1, and this family is getting rich. Folks, Miss Nanette Quatley at $5,299, and she is the sister, the manager, the leader of also Arnel Guillermo. So boy, that family is moving and shaking. And folks, I tell you what, as the leader goes, so goes the rest of the team. She produced up until the last day pretty much of business to do for the year, December the 29th. And what did her brother do? The exact same thing. So folks, I'll tell you what, thank you, and a huge congratulations to the 5 of you, as well as everyone else that named you. Just because your name wasn't called doesn't mean you didn't produce. I know that there were several others that produced even small policies, but folks, way to go, way to get out there and show people what you're really made of, and that you cared enough to work through the holidays, through Christmas, up to New Year's to protect families. Great job. Back over to you, Michelle.
Absolutely. Again, guys, it's about taking care of one person at a time, one family at a time, one community at a time. Continue to work through taking care of more and more people so we can continue to grow and build and develop stronger financial families all around us. And guess what? It's going to help take care of your family as well, which is always a good thing. So we want to get started now. We're going to get it rocking and rolling. Today what we're going to talk about is the actual mortgage protection. We call it mortgage protection, business insurance, term insurance. And if you're brand new with this, I'm going to even hit on some of the basics here. I want to make sure, but if you've been here a while, you probably need to go back over the basics. Make sure you're communicating and training your new agents and helping them understand, the products and what they're doing as well. So we're going to really take some time and kind of break down between 2 of them today. But what is mortgage protection? Well, it's what we call jet issue, meaning that you don't have to have the paramed scheduled and so forth to help take care of getting that policy issued. Reason it's called mortgage protection, and again, some people used to get confused and think, oh, that's the insurance on the house itself. No, this is life insurance. It's still covering life of the homeowners in the home. The home helped qualify them for the benefit to get that benefit, but basically anyone who lives in that home has a big debt now, right? A debt that if something happens to them, they're no longer working, or they get injured, or they have no income coming in, all of a sudden they can lose their home. Foreclosures got to a very high rate at one point, and insurance companies saw that as a need and something that they could put out there that people could start qualifying very simply for ways to be able to get benefits to make sure that, hey, if something happens to that major bread earner, or most of our homes now are taking two people to, the income to be able to support that home. If something happens to one or the other, then it put the other one in a bind to potentially lose their home. There's no medical requirements on the mortgage protection products, so they don't have to have the blood or urine collected. They do have defined ways and types of things that they will approve, and they also let you know what things won't get approved in this type of policy, and they're in your agent guides. I know we've talked about it before, but I'm going to say it again. Make sure you have your agent guides for all companies that you are utilizing saved to your desktop, or to your laptop, or your tablet, or your mobile phone, whatever you're utilizing when you're taking care of clients. Have it with you. Some even still carry their hard paper copy, and that's fine too, because read it in between appointments, read it in between interviews, read it when you're got some downtime, so you get yourself really thoroughly invested into what it is that you do. You are the professional. You are the one out there making the difference. So we want to make sure that you are prepared and ready to go. It has height and weight guidelines. It'll tell you right there. If they're over this weight and under this height, it's not going to work, right? Or vice versa. It tells you exactly who all can qualify, the maximums and minimums. They're going to look at a medical information bureau background, finding out if they've been declined or had any other issues come up in the medical bureau that's not put on that application. And we're going to talk about the underwriting and the importance of your part in that when you're out there working with your clients. And so this is the way underwriters can quickly look up information about your client and just make sure that everything jives, that everything looks like it's right and in order. Motor vehicle report, MVR, is the motor vehicle report that comes from their state, their license. You ask for their license on the application, and that's something they can look to make sure, hey, have they had a serious number of tickets? Do they have DUIs? Have they had their license taken because they haven't figured out how to follow the rules yet? Whatever. They're looking for high risk clients to be able to weed out, of course. And so it's important you find out what the status of the license is and information about that, because they do consider it and they want to make sure that they're lowering their risk. Remember, they're guaranteeing sometimes $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 to this family should something happen, and so they're looking for those things that might already be indicators that there is a higher risk with this particular client. So you got to know how to get it the right way. If they have some issues there, you may not be able to use these products because you're going to have some more explanation. They might have to do thorough investigation, and that's when you go to something more fully underwritten and have to have somebody take more time with it. These are designed for those that we can get in and out, get them issued, sometimes 24, 48 hours, up to a week or so, and get those clients' policies issued in hand, and then they feel secure and this is taken care of. They're also going to do some pharmaceutical background checks. In other words, looking at seeing what medications have been prescribed and or used or not used. Again, always important when you're asking questions. What prescriptions have you been given by your doctors, and so on and so forth, whether you use them or not, and if they don't, why are they not, and has it been approved, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's very, very important. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people will ask what prescriptions you're taking. And a client will say, I'm not taking anything, but they may have had prescriptions called in. In fact, I was just speaking with an agent just the other day that has a client that for whatever reason, she's not taking about 4 or 5 medications that she was prescribed, but she continues to refill them and fill them every single time, which is kind of a scary situation because who knows what she's really doing with those prescriptions. But you do need to ask, what prescriptions have you been, what have you been prescribed by a doctor that has been filled? Not necessarily what you're taking, but what has been called in or what has been filled, because they will be able to see that a doctor has called in a prescription to a pharmacy, even if they didn't pick it up. So, you do want to make sure that you know that, and if they're not taking it, that's fine. You just need to ask why, because I know that sometimes I've had clients that were given 3 or 4 prescriptions by one doctor. They went and saw another doctor that disagreed with the first doctor, ran different tests, and determined something else was going on, and told them, no, don't take those. We're going to put you on something totally different. Here's the situation, or something along those lines. So do find out, and if there is, if they say, well, I was given this, just make sure you give a thorough explanation to the underwriters so that they can corroborate it, and it'll make sense, and it will avoid a decline or a postponement that isn't necessary.
Absolutely. Again, it is important you understand you are their information. What is written on that application is all that underwriter can know and understand. And again, these are their checkpoints that they're using to make sure that it looks like it's all in line. So give explanations, find out information, help make sure that that client knows that you are their adversary. You're the one helping them, advocate, helping them take care of, don't let them think you're an adversary. Let them know that you are their advocate, and helping get them approved the right way with the right product and taking care of them.
And one thing I will say, and I suggest, folks, if you're in this business, you need to understand your business. Be a student of your business. You remember we talked several months back when we did the call, Know Your Business. Go to MIB.com, okay? Make sure you go to MIB.com. Pull your own. Order and request your own MIB. And if you are young and you don't have anything out there, you've never had a problem, you want to see what one looks like, ask your parents for permission, or get your parents or a sibling or a neighbor or anyone to order their MIB and let you see it. That way you're familiar with what one will look like. And I can tell you, I have had situations where I've had clients that say, well, I did have something a few years ago, but I don't remember if it was 7 years or 5 years or 3 years or whatever it is. If you're concerned, if it's something that's right on the bubble, if you've got one of those in the last 7-year questions or whatever, and you want to make sure that you do the right thing for your client, tell them to request their MIB and wait a little bit, okay? It doesn't take long for it to come in. I think they actually come in now electronically via email. They used to actually mail it to you, snail mail. But go in and request, get your clients to request their MIB if you're not sure. It will tell what exactly is being reported by life insurance and health insurance companies about your client. It's going to talk about surgeries. It's going to talk about whatever else is on there. So just make sure, you do your homework, but it's very, very good to know that so that you can explain to your client what types of things are going to go on, and you'll know as an expert, or at least an educated agent, if you will, what your clients are going to, what's going to go through the process.
Perfect. Now, so let's go ahead and talk about 2 of our companies that I would highly recommend. If you're getting started, this is going to be your focus market. And again, guys, we've talked about it over and over. You need to have a focus, a direction, a niche. And Vita has a focus, a direction, and a niche. And you got to make sure yours fits within that so that you can make sure you're making the money that you need as you get started. And so I'm going to talk about the ones where you get the maximum pay, you get the maximum issue, and you get the maximum opportunity to take care of all types of clients. So we're going to start there. So in this particular area, again, understanding your products, we're going to compare today Mutual of Omaha and American Amicable. We're going to talk about their two mortgage protection products, Term Life Express for Mutual of Omaha and Home Protector with American Amicable. Those are the two companies and the names of those two mortgage protection products, okay? With Mutual of Omaha, I've kind of done the side-by-side comparison here for you. No mortgage is required to still be able to get the benefit of this. So they could actually be living in an apartment, maybe preparing to get a home, just getting through school or in a transition or whatever, and not be required to have a mortgage in order to get this Jet Issue Simplified product issued for them, okay? Now, with American Amicable, there has to have been a mortgage, either new or previous, at any time. There's not a restraint. We used to have restraints of like it had to be within 5 years or 3 years or some different rules. But over time, they've realized people, finance, refinance, do different things. They change, they move, they're in between. As long as they've ever had a mortgage, then you can use American Amicable's Home Protector. Now, they're both simplified issue face amounts. With Mutual of Omaha, you start as low as a 10-year you can get with them, 10, 15, 20, or a 30-year. With Home Protector, you've got 15, 20, 25, and a 30-year term available to you. Those are the terms, again, common for people to do what? A loan, a mortgage loan for a period of time. So those are the kind of the times that they cover and be able to work out for you. Now, with those particular products, there is what we call an ROP, which is return of premium option. These are living benefits that, hey, many of you are going to be young, you're buying your homes, you're going to pay down your home. Some will pay down faster, some will take time and start over again. But you can pick a period of time and get all of the monies back or a portion of the monies back, and how it works. And so with the return of premium option, with the Mutual of Omaha, you have the 20 and 30-year return of premium up to 100% of what you put into that policy, guys. Big, big, awesome benefit there. It's true and easy there for you to do. Most people that are going to go with those options are probably looking at 20 to 30 years that they have financed their home. Now, with American Amicable, you can actually do the return of premium on as low as 20, but you can do the 25 and the 30. You're going to get a portion of that money back that was all invested. They're going to keep a certain portion that actually paid for the insurance and fees and so forth, and they kind of adjusted that just recently, so it's important that you know that that's different now, up to 75% of the amounts of monies that were invested into it. Now, with the Mutual of Omaha Term Life Express, we're at $25,000 minimum, and it's the same at Home Protector. But they'll go up to $300,000 in protection. As we know, more of our homes are increasing in value. They're getting larger loans, up to age 50. 18 to 50, they'll cover you. With Home Protector, it's 20 to 65. They start at 20 years old to 65, though, going to the $250,000. At Mutual of Omaha, it's $25,000 to the $250,000 up to 65. So they still both will go up to 65 at $250,000, but you get a little bit more room with Mutual of Omaha to $300,000. And both of them are going to be figured at the age of their last birthday.
That's real important to pay attention to, folks, because that tells you age last birthday. So that means up until the date that they turn 66, you can get them that policy. Now, there is a way, you'd have to contact the carrier to take a look at it, but there is a way even after their 65th birthday or 66th birthday that you could go back and get them still a policy. They're going to have to pay all, several months back with the, to give them an effective date of before their birth date, some things like that. I don't necessarily recommend going in and doing that because we do have some other products that we will do on another call in the future that will take somebody all the way up to age 75, simplified issue. So we do have some other options that are available, but just know that up to age 65, you're good to go. with those particular policies. So.
All right. Now, another thing that we're going to look at is, comparing between the two again. You can help provide income for mortgage payments if they become disabled, disability riders, okay? In the event of a covered disability, this rider provides cash that can be used to make their mortgage payments, $250 to $3,000, for either a 18 or 30-month period of time after a 90-day elimination period. Okay.
Now that is with Mutual of Omaha, right?
Mutual of Omaha.
Okay.
That's with Mutual of Omaha. They cannot have, and this is important to know, if you have a client who wants disability as well, you're not going to be able to go to Mutual of Omaha's product, Term Life Express, because they cannot have the return of premium and disability at the same time. They can have all other riders, but they can't have disability and return of premium. They get either or. Okay. Mm-hmm. With American Amicable, your home protector, again, does the same thing, help pay the mortgage payments during a disability. When they select that rider, they can receive a monthly benefit up to $1,500 for a maximum benefit of 2-year period in the event they become disabled. This one has a 60-day elimination period, and they can have disability and return of premium on the same policy.
Hey, Michelle, I'm brand new. I'm brand stinking new.
Uh-huh.
What do you mean 90-day elimination or 60-day elimination period? What does that mean?
That's a good point. Now, what that means is if once they've diagnosed that you are disabled, you're going to have 90 days with Mutual of Omaha to wait before they will start paying that disability amount. Maybe it's $3,000 if you had the maximum. They will go back, pay those 90. No, they will not go back and pay those 90 days there. That means eliminate completely. So you won't get that back. But with American Amicable, you have 60 days to wait before they start paying your mortgage payment.
So on the 91st day and the 61st day, payments will begin. And it is important to note that with both carriers, even though you see the $250 up to $3,000 with Mutual of Omaha and the $1,500 is the maximum with American Amicable. Theirs, I believe, American Amicable is also a minimum of $250. But it is important to note that the maximum amount is 1.5% of whatever your face amount is. So even if you're doing Mutual of Omaha, if you have a $100,000 policy, mm-hmm. you're not going to be able to apply for a $3,000 benefit. The maximum benefit that you can get that client is 1.5% of the face amount. So just keep that in mind with both carriers. And American Amicable is 1.5% of the face amount, to a maximum of $1,500 per month.
And again, the good thing is with your software, it's going to show you if you try to put something in that doesn't work. And if you call me and say, Michelle, it's not working, read the little notes, because you probably, put something in that's outside the parameters of what you're allowed to do. So that's why we say we love that software. It's going to tell you, no, silly, you can't do that. You can only go to this percentage, or you can only go to this maximum amount, and so on, of the death benefit.
And it's important. I know that we talk a lot about using mobile quoting software because it is quicker and easier. But it is very, very important, folks, that I will say, especially if you're brand new. And really, it doesn't really matter, brand new or seasoned. It's really good to download the quote software for all the carriers onto your actual laptop or a computer at home and start just playing with it. Plug in, just a basic illustration of, use yourself or use a particular, mid-age, like a 39 or 40-year-old, and run things, add things to it, take things off of it, and read what your illustration says. See what it says, because I'll tell you, there's no better training that anybody can do. I mean, the carriers do training like we're doing right now. We do these trainings all the time on Mondays as well as on Thursdays. Folks, we do them in the boot camps. We do them on team calls. But there's no better understanding of downloading the software and just running some scenarios and reading what the illustration page says.
And even better yet, get out there in front of clients, have questions, make mistakes. It's okay. You're not going to hurt anybody. It's going to get done right before it gets in. Make sure you always run it by your manager if there are questions and things that you're trying to do. Now, next, moving on, accelerated death benefit rider. Okay, with Mutual of Omaha, it is included in the policy. Now, on this particular one, it pays 92% of the death benefit in a lump sum if a client provides evidence that their life expectancy is 24 months or less. Okay, once the benefit's paid out, the policy will be then terminated. So you can get up to 92% with Mutual of Omaha. With American Amicable's Home Protector, same thing, but it pays 100% of the death benefit in a lump sum if the life expectancy is less than 12 months. So they have to be considered about to die within the next year, and then they will reduce the death benefit amount by the amount used. So if there's anything left that you didn't use, then they will pay that out as a death benefit.
With both companies, the accelerated death benefit rider, in this case, these are both included and free in the policy. So it's not anything you have to apply for. It's nothing you can apply for. It is just what we call, in the industry terminology, it's an inherent benefit. If you ever hear somebody talk about an inherent benefit, that's what they mean, that it's just a part of the policy that they have. In this case, we'll say included. It's automatically included at no charge, just so you know. And it's a good selling feature. You know, if you're in the house, for those of us that are salespeople, here's one of your benefits that you can, that you can use. Some people use them to sell. This is a closing benefit to me. You know, your benefits, you got features that tell and benefits that sell. So this is the things that you want to try to emphasize to your customers, that they're getting at no additional charge.
Right. Definitely, definitely. All right. Now, also understanding some differences here. Mutual of Omaha has one of those inherent things, part of the policy at no additional cost, called residential damage rider. This is something new that came out, and important for someone who's thinking about their home. If their primary residence sustained $25,000 or more in damage, maybe a tornado, maybe earthquake, flooding, we've had lots of different things, fires, whatever could come up. It allows them, the base, to have a 6-month period of time to waive their premium payment for their policy. So it'll stay active for at least 6 more months without having to pay into it, and take care of making sure they don't lose their policy.
And keep in mind, folks, that we talk about primary residence, but again, you remember Mutual of Omaha, their Term Life Express, we use it for mortgage protection. However, it does not require a mortgage, like Michelle said. So if you have a renter, this will work for a renter, and this still primary residence. It doesn't mean they own it, but their primary dwelling. If they live there, they could live with their parents, folks.
Right.
If the parents' house, or whoever they live with, if the house that they live in sustains more than $25,000 in damage, and they have to be able to show that, Mutual of Omaha will waive the premium for their protection for up to 6 months, one time.
All right. Now, American Amicable does not have that feature, so again, maybe if it's an area that they've had issues before, or I always look at these people. Unfortunately, we living here in the South, we see Tornado Alley and things where things have happened before. You're like, okay, maybe I need to have some additional protections or something. Might be something you consider. All right, now also to understand, Mutual of Omaha has what they call a common carrier death benefit provision. It's included naturally in the policy. You don't pay additional for it. If the client should die in an accident while on a fare-paying passenger or a common carrier, this rider provides an additional death benefit equal to 100% of the original face amount, or $250,000, whichever is less. Okay, so if they had a $300,000, they're only going to get the additional $250,000 if they died due to an accident. American Amicable does not have the common carrier death benefit, so that's something to know. Difference if you're talking to a client who uses buses, taxis, fly a lot, on trains, going places a lot, that might be something important to have as an additional free added benefit in that policy. They can add additional accidental with Mutual of Omaha. The death benefit, as well as $10,000 up to the face amount for a very low additional cost. They can put that on there, and it actually stays in effect through the full amount of the policy. With American Amicable, you would have to add an additional rider for the accidental death benefit. Again, not very big charge. Issue ages 20 to 64. Minimum amount is $1,000 up to $200,000, or 5 times the face amount, whichever is lesser. That accidental death benefit will be paid to the beneficiary if the insured dies as a result of any type of accident. And that terminates, though, at age 65. So important to realize that that one will stop after 65 with American Amicable.
So here's the I guess the comparison there with the additional accidental death. Obviously, Mutual of Omaha gives you common carrier, whereas American Amicable does not. So what that means is if they pay a fare to be a passenger on anything, a cab, a train, a plane, you know, whatever, a limo service, whatever it is, if they paid a fare to be a passenger and they die, they will automatically get an additional amount with Mutual of Omaha that they don't with American Amicable. However, with both companies, if they buy additional accidental death, Mutual of Omaha will allow you to go up to $250,000 or the face amount, whichever is less. So what that means is if you do a $300,000 policy with Mutual of Omaha, the maximum amount of additional accidental death benefit that you can get them is $250,000. If you do a $100,000 policy with Mutual of Omaha, the maximum amount of death benefit accidental that you can purchase additional is $100,000. So if you get $100,000 with them, $100,000 is the maximum amount that they'll go. So it's dollar for dollar up to $250,000 of a max with them. American Amicable, however, will allow you to go to a maximum of $200,000, even if, let's say, if you do 250, the maximum is 200,000. If you do 200,000, the max is 200,000. However, if you do 100,000 or anything under 200,000 for that matter, if you do a $100,000 policy with American Amicable, you can add 200,000 of accidental death to their policy. So they will let you go beyond and above and beyond the actual face amount of the policy on Home Protector up to 200,000. With that, and in this case it says 5 times the face amount. So if you have a $50,000 policy, okay, 5 times 5 is 25. So the maximum amount that in the 5 times situation would have been 250,000. So you could actually do a $50,000 Home Protector policy and put $200,000 in accidental death benefit on for that client as well to give them some additional coverage, which is pretty nice as well. As Michelle said, that benefit with MM, it will stop at age 65. The policy, the premium amount will reduce by the amount that they were paying for the additional accidental death to just the death benefit amount, and it will continue, whereas Mutual of Omaha's will go through the end of the policy period beyond the 65th birthday.
All right, all right. Now we want to move into critical illness. Now, many of us know and have heard of critical illness, and they'll define what the critical illness is with most of the companies: heart attack, stroke, cancer, kidney failure. They have a lot of, and again, it's defined in your agent guide, so you need to know what the differences are between them and how they work. But basically, critical illness compared to critical illness, with Mutual Omaha, it's an included benefit. There's no additional cost. They automatically include it in the pricing of the policy, and it's up to 80% of the face amount should you have a critical illness diagnosed. Okay? With American Amicable's Home Protector, critical illness is an additional cost. You're going to pay additionally for it, and it will stay in effect to age 70. You can get 25%, 50%, or up to 100%, and you have to decide what that percentage you want at the time that you sign up for it, up to $100,000 in benefit for you if a critical illness should occur. So I'm going to let Robert kind of talk to you about the comparison between these and when you're working with a client there.
Okay, so when you're with Mutual of Omaha, okay, Mutual of Omaha, on their policy, it's an inherent benefit with Term Life Express, okay, except for in one case. If you put return of premium, and we said this earlier, if you put return of premium on a Mutual of Omaha policy, this particular benefit is not added for free, nor can you add critical illness if you have return of premium. So just know, if you add return of premium on Term Life Express, there is no critical illness benefit included at all. Okay, that's return of premium. Okay, that you can with that. Otherwise, it is automatically going to be added on there. Now they will do up to 80% of the face amount at no additional cost, which is a really, really nice thing, especially when you start going above the $100,000 mark into larger mortgages. Okay, with American Amicable, as Michelle said, they will do the critical illness all the way to age 70. You do have to choose this benefit. It is not included. It is not inherent. It is not automatic. Okay, you have to buy it. Okay, you can add it along with return of premium for American Amicable. So if they want their money back and they want critical illness, you can do that with American Amicable. Okay, however, Michelle talked about the 25, 50, and 100% that they have. They, at American Amicable, the maximum amount of critical illness dollar figure that they will pay out is $100,000, regardless of the face amount of the policy. So you see the 100% that we talk about there. If you have a $100,000 policy that you're doing, you can get your client 100% for critical illness. So in the event that they have a heart attack, a stroke, invasive cancer, kidney failure, major organ transplant, terminal illness, paralysis or blindness, or even HIV infection, and this is what I'll come back to, that's only for medical personnel, HIV infection. Okay, they can get up to $100,000 upon diagnosis of those critical illnesses. Okay, HIV infection is only for medical professionals, medical personnel. So if you have a firefighter or a paramedic or a nurse or a doctor or anyone that works in and around the medical profession, okay, handling things, they will actually give them that critical illness benefit in the definition as well, which is huge because they're the only company I know out there that does that. And I've used that in the past many times when I'm with someone that's in the medical profession, especially if they handle blood and fluids. I stress that, and they jump all over it. Okay, and if they have to have coronary artery bypass, okay, a bypass graft, they get 10% of that accelerated benefit percentage. So if you have somebody that has to have bypass, they're going to give them, if it's a $100,000 benefit, they're going to give them $10,000 towards that bypass, which is incredible. Okay, so now if you have somebody that has a $200,000 mortgage and you do the critical illness with AMAM, the maximum you're going to be able to do is a 50% benefit, right, because it's going to be $100,000. Once you go over, so the way you look at it is you can go 100% up to 100,000. From 100,000 to 200,000, you can go 50. You can go 25 or 50%. So up to 100,000, you can go 25, 50, or 100. From $100,001 up to $200,000, you can go 25% or 50% of that face amount. Okay, in critical illness. Once you do $200,001, the only percentage available to you through American Amicable is a 25% benefit of whatever that face amount is.
All right. So hopefully that's clear. Again, if you haven't run illustrations, you want to do that and read those so they become more clear to you as you go. Now, we get into the part of underwriting, kind of understanding what they're looking at between them. With the Term Life Express, they're going to look at your ages, 18 to 60, all right? The amount being underwritten, any 25,000 to 250,000 or 250 to 400,000. They're all simplified underwriting standard through Table 4. They're going to look at the MIB we talked about. The MVR is going to be mandatory 18 to 35 years old. They will automatically do that. MVR will be looked at 36 to 65 as needed. Okay? And then they're always going to look at the pharmaceutical. With 18 to 60-year-olds, there's going to be random phone interviews that could pop up on those particular policies. The phone interview, oral fluids will be required there if needed on that. Now, 61 to 65, phone interview, Oral fluids, APS, mandatory if they get over certain amounts on the 250 to 400,000. So again, just kind of knowing what the breakdown is and where that is on your policies, and knowing what you're looking for. With American Amicable, 20 to 65, you can go up to 149,000, and they'll only do telephone interviews as needed. But if they're 56 to 65 and 150,000 or more, they're going to get a telephone interview. It will be required. So again, a lot of times they want to, what they do, they say point of sale. They want you to do the interview right then and there if you can, and you want to, because you want to get it done and over with and get it taken care of, so they can make sure that basically, again, all the information that they've given you, they give to another person the same way. All right.
All right. So now let's go back. Okay, the underwriting requirements. Actually, our slide says 400,000, but actually on Term Life Express, you're capping out at 300,000. Okay, on that. And I can tell you the simplified that they're going to do is through, Michelle said, both companies really through Table 4. You've got your MIB, which they're going to pull automatically. Now I can tell you, if you see with Mutual of Omaha, it says the motor vehicle report is going to be pulled if they're 18 to 35. They're going to pull it every single time. That is extremely true. Okay, and I can tell you that even though American Amicable doesn't say it, I know that through experience they pull from 18 to about 30 or 35 automatically as well. Okay. They say on the motor vehicle report as needed ages 35 to 65. American Amicable is going to be the same way. What does that mean as needed? I can tell you this. If you check off that the client has had a DUI or DWI or a license suspension, they're going to pull the motor vehicle report. Okay, they are going to pull it.
Yeah.
And so, just know that you let your client know if when you get a yes answer for that there will be a motor vehicle report. That's not a bad thing. It just means it's going to slow things down a little bit. And what they're going to be looking at is to see if that person is still on probation from that, or if their license is still in a suspension status or a provisional status, if they're still having to, start their car funny and different things like that. If they're still being monitored for it, if they've been released and they have no further problems, no other things, chances are you're going to be okay. Okay, especially if it's a one-time deal. If it's a serial deal where they've had more than one DUI, you're probably going to end up with a decline. Just know your client, let your client know that there will be a motor vehicle report pulled on that. The other time that I can tell you that's as needed with both clients, if you apply for additional accidental death benefit with both carriers, I don't care if it's $5, even though we know the minimums on that. I'm being exaggeratory, but whatever you do, even if it's in a minimum of accidental death, they will pull an MVR in every single case. Okay, so just know that. And then they all pull the pharmaceutical report. The pharmaceutical report, as we mentioned earlier, it's going to show record up to 7 years of any and all prescriptions that have been called in to be filled. Okay, if they or that have been submitted to a pharmacy to be filled. So, if the client had a prescription that was written out, they didn't take it in and get it filled, the doctor told them not to, whatever reason, that's not going to show up on there. But if it's been turned into a pharmacy to be filled, whether they picked it up or not, whether they took it or not, it will show up on the pharmaceutical report, and it will go back 7 years. Just know that, okay? And again, American Amicable, they do the telephone interviews mandatory on this product from 56 years of age and up and over $150,000. In the guide, there is the telephone interview information that you can put in your phone.
Yeah.
And you can, if you make yourself a folder with paper applications in case you need them, just write in there the hours for that, because they are there Monday through Friday. I forget, I think it's like 8 to 8 or 8 to 9. And then Saturdays they're there as well. They have some Saturday hours. If you see that you're in a situation where it's going to be a mandatory telephone interview, it's best to pick up the phone while you have the client. As soon as you've done your application, let the client know, look, they want to do just a quick telephone interview just to ensure that I asked you all the questions. It's a quality control thing. They're going to ask you the exact same questions that I'm going to ask you, so your answers will be identical. I'm going to go ahead and get them on the phone, and let's do that now so that they don't get you at a bad time and interrupt something. And just pick up the phone, and dial it in. Give the interview line the information they request. They're going to give you a telephone interview case number to write on the top right-hand corner of your application, and then hand the phone to your client and let them do the interview. That way you know it's done. That will speed your underwriting up, folks, because then you're looking at 2 to 3 days, maybe 4 days maximum for them to get all of that and make a decision versus a week or so of them chasing your client and slowing things down.
Again, it's important you have your agent guide that gives you the impairment issues or different illnesses or different medications that you can look at whether they're going to be approved or not approved in different scenarios. Look those things up when you're working with your client. It's about getting out there. The more times you do it, you'll know, oh, diabetes is okay with this or not with that or whatever. You're going to learn those things as you go, and they'll become more automatic. But in the beginning, you need to be looking those up and knowing them, so you're not submitting applications that are going to get someone declined, and you should have known they were going to be declined because it was written out for you. So don't let that happen. Make sure in the beginning, again, having your manager, your mentor work with you and look over those applications and double check that information to make sure before it goes through. I'd recommend before you start doing the mobile apps or some of the directs that you actually do maybe some paper apps for your first week or two, making sure you really understand how to really look up that information. That I highly recommend that for all new agents and managers out there working with your new agents. I know it's a little extra work in the beginning, but it's about making sure you learn the right habits as you go.
Folks, if you're a manager, if you're a team leader even, and you have agents that you've recruited, this isn't even a suggestion. It's pretty much a requirement, because your agents are looking to you to be the expert. And if you're just telling them, just write this, just write that, without really knowing what's going on, just submit this, just submit it here, submit it there, without knowing these things, you're setting yourself and your agents up for failure. You're setting your agents up for a lot of frustration, and you're setting yourself up for a lot of recruiting, because you're going to burn through agents really, really quickly. You're going to lose agents because of persistency problems by submitting business that isn't suitable.
Right.
You know, again, you hear Philip talking about suitability.
Yep.
This is a type of suitability, making sure your client and their particular situation matches the carrier requirements for the policy. And folks, I can tell you, again, if you're not becoming the subject matter expert as much as you possibly can for your agents, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Your agents will begin to talk, and trust me, they'll talk, and it won't be good, because they'll say, this person, Robert, doesn't know what he's talking about. He just tells me, I got one decline over here, hurry up and submit it over here. Just throw it up against the wall and see what sticks. And folks, that is not the way to run your business, folks. That is the way to run yourself out of business.
That's right. We're about being here a year from now making more money, right, guys? So we want to do it the right way. Now, I'm going to go through some very important information. I just said to you, hey, when you get started, take paper apps. Get on the phone, get with the carrier, have them mailed to you, 25, 30 paper apps of Term Life Express and of Home Protector. Have them both there. Practice filling it out on yourself, on your brother, on your mother, on your sister. You know, I was trying to make a song, but I'll keep it going from here. Anyway, we'll go. You got to make sure you're getting comfortable with how to write it, what to do, what the questions are, and you'll get through them very quickly. Now, this is very important. When you're setting up with your client and you're in the home, and I know, again, Philip has taken a lot of time and energy, as well as other leaders and mentors before, about the importance of this, but I'm going to actually read through this. I want you to read through this with me on the left again. Before asking any health questions, stress the importance of truthful, complete answers to your client. All right, say, look, I am your advocate. I'm here to help make sure we get you to the right product and get it issued. Tobacco usage. That will match information already in the applicant's medical records, national. In other words, they can find out if they've ever claimed to be a smoker before. or used tobacco before. And if they are all of a sudden are not now, you need to say how long it's been that they haven't been doing it, right? And you have to put those types of details in your agent notes on the application so that you don't run a risk of it being declined because they think they're not giving you truthful information. The prescription databases, the MIB, you explain to them what that is, that anytime they've gone to see a doctor, professional, or applied for an application before, that information that they submitted can now be on that Medical Information Bureau, and they're going to double check that. So guess what? If they said they had cancer 5 years ago, 5 years ago, then it's now, and you say it's 10 years ago, it needs to say 10 years ago they had cancer. It needs to match and or have explanation and so forth. If the applicant answers yes to any health questions such as high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, make sure you get the full details. Ask them this information. What age were they when it started? What is the name of all medications used to treat it? The applicant's last reading, how often they go to the doctor and have it checked, the name of the doctor treating the condition, the date they were last seen, etc. These are very important little details that if you answer all these questions, and like with American Amicable, they actually have a form that has all the questions on for you, so you want to have that in front of you and go through it, because then they won't necessarily have to get additional what they call attending physician statements from their actual doctor, because you gave them all the information. Guys, you want to be the one giving them the information. The more complete information you can provide on the application significantly reduces the need to order those medical records or an interview, and it will speed up your issue time. It will increase your issued policies. It will increase your policies kept, and less interviews continue to happen from there. Okay, over here to the right, I just put about how to use the mobile apps. Again, I would recommend you start this maybe a week or two after you've gotten things through, you've learned the ins and outs, you've worked closely with your mentor, you know what you're doing, then go through the training on how to use the mobile apps. I do think that they're great and that they can make sure that you don't have mistakes, that you don't miss information. It helps you eliminate incomplete applications, missing forms, reduce the processing delays. They're used with an iPad or tablet device. Agent-friendly online process. Applications are signed on the screen using a finger or a stylus. Some of them have questions they ask you. I think with the Term Life Express, it's just they ask you questions that will be your signature requirement.
Yeah, they'll ask for some different things like that. At the end, they'll ask for like mother's maiden name or driver's license number or city of birth, things like that, and then it'll to be their passcode, if you will, to do an electronic signature. Real quick, a lot of folks, in fact, I see somebody out there that's going, yeah, but I use electronic applications. I don't need to take paper applications. Now, I'm going to jump back real quick. You do need to always keep at least, I always say at least 2 to 4 paper applications in your bag, even for any carrier that you normally would do an electronic application of any kind for, okay? And both American Amicable and Mutual of Omaha have the ability to do electronic applications. However, you will run into certain situations where they're going to say, oh, we need a wet signature for this. For instance, if you have somebody, let's say that I'm going to be the policy owner for my Term Life Express to Mutual of Omaha, and I do everything. It's all mine. I'm going to be the everything, except for when it comes to payer. If I don't have a bank account, or if I'm going to take the money out of my wife Michelle's bank account, my name is not necessarily on it, okay? Now you're in a situation where you're going to put in Michelle's information, and Mutual of Omaha is going to get it. They're going to process it, and they're going to say, well, wait a minute. If Michelle's not the owner, but she's the payer, okay, we need her signature. So, there's a freebie, folks. I just gave you a freebie to speed things up. So you're going to want to make sure that you take out a paper application. Even though you just did an electronic application, you're going to fill the banking information page out, okay? And you're going to have Michelle sign that. So as soon as Mutual of Omaha says they need it, you can scan it, you can upload it, you can email it directly to the underwriter and save yourself some valuable time. American Amicable, they have forms for a million different things for every condition you can think of, diabetes, blood pressure, things of that nature. Even though on their electronic applications they ask you those things, you just never know. They may come back and ask you for something, and it's good if you've got those things ready. Or frankly, you know what, your computer could crash, you could have no internet connection. There's all sorts of things that could happen, and the worst thing in the world to have happen is that, and then you don't have a paper application. So be prepared, be over prepared.
Yep, absolutely, guys. Can't stress that enough. Well, with that, I'm going to start our wrap up a little bit. I know most of you have heard a little bit about this little conference that we're having coming up, or big conference, ha ha ha. Invita's Elevate 2017, all systems go. I hope you're in the go and in the know so that you're going to be ready for this next year. As most of you know, your price increased to $149.95 unless you're brand new with us and have just gotten recruited. From December 15th on, you are still eligible for the $99.95 rate. So guys, get your new people in there, get your new recruits, taking advantage of that real quickly, as they gave us an extension, since we have been doing an incredible job of getting some brand new agents aboard and going, and that's going to be important. Actually, I've got one more back note to make real quick before I go from there. Look, we're going to continue on this. As you can see, I only did 2 products, 1 type today. We have many more. I'm going to kind of do some of the same types of things with you. I went a little more detail on what the definitions were and where we were going. But it's about being able to utilize these leads that we have available. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 64 brand new A-leads. M1, brand new, just got here leads in Texas, waiting for people to come see them. Don't let those people sit there and not be protected and take too long to get to. We have some in Brazoria. We have 7 exactly. We have 7 in Collin County, 8 in Dallas County, 7 in Fort Bend, 24 in Harris County. Houston, people, wake up out there. We got 4 in Galveston, 1 in Gregg, 2 in Harrison, 4 in Montgomery. Those are some quick runoffs there. Take advantage of that, guys. Get into the lead system. If you don't know what I'm talking about, how to get there, get with your mentor, get in there and get going. We've talked about that. Take advantage of that, guys. Also, if you have not booked your room at the Gaylord and not going to make it more of a big family affair, a big team affair, all of you being together, but you want to be able to be there morning and night for the before and the afters and the special events and things that are going to be happening. You want to be close by. Our corporate leaders have found a very good alternative for you right across from it for a $99 room rate if you mention Invita, right there at the Comfort Inn at Grapevine. There's the information, 817-329-9300. You can call that, and again, it's on Capitol Street in Grapevine, Comfort Inn for $99. So they will do shuttle service for you to and from the Gaylord from there. So you don't even have to have another vehicle. Just got to get there. Also, if you have not attended the boot camp, learning some of these types of details that we're talking about very quickly on these weekly trainings, but want to go in depth with us and take advantage of the $100 off for the registration, get a hold of Amy early at invitafn.com for more information on that, so we can help get you to that. So with that, one more very, very important announcement I have to make, and I hope you can hang on with me here. We have a very, very special thing that we're kicking off. I'm opening this up to let you know about now. It's Invita Cares. And guys, we are a company about people, for people, putting them in better situations. Philip has made it clear, you know, again, the intentions that the leaders should go down all the way through. We have found a very, very special charity I've actually known about and been part of for many, many years. We picked them as our local one this year because our convention is here in Dallas area. They actually are statewide, though. They're in 7 or 8 different states right now. The one that we're going to sponsor, and we're going to now really kick off our caring program community. It's going to get us some more also media attention and different things going on in the community. So people are going to see the Envita name. We're co-branding this particular project with you. There's an actual video to tell you a little bit more about it. It's called Kids Matter International. And if you go on our Envita website, we already have it on there for you now too. We're going to start off as of today, kicking off Kids Matter. And it's about reading. Their literacy rate is still astoundingly high in our impoverished cities around this country. And one of the biggest reasons they say that kids that are young that still are not grasping reading is they don't have access still to the books the way maybe some of the ones in more rich education environments might. And so we're gonna do a big push here now to help this organization kick off. They've actually been known more for clothing children that don't have maybe winter coats when winter comes around, or shoes, or need new jeans, or just some of the basic things that their families can't provide them. And been part of that. It's a neat thing. You can actually volunteer with this group too, and I would highly encourage it. It's such a special blessing to be able to have a chance to actually help kids go do the shopping with this $100 allotment for their clothing. But now they've really started emphasizing a reading program where volunteers actually read to these kids that need to start learning to love to read and to grow and build their minds as well. And for $1, guys, you can actually give a book and a volunteer to a kid. Now, we're really going to kind of emphasize, I'm going to try to play this real quick to see if it will work. I'm not sure, so if you want to hang on with me, we can try it. But I did try it the other day, and oops, okay, wait a minute, go back. That did not go so far. To where we were able to try to play it. But the video does play on the actual website. It talks about Kids Matter. Our goal overall as a company is to raise at least 1,000 books that we can donate to these kids. All where are needed, but primarily here in the Texas area, and we can kind of look at it, you know, as to who's doing it. But for a $10 donation, you can get 10 books to a school, a community, an area for these kids. So I'm looking to see if this is actually going to try to come up. I think it's trying. It clicked a couple times. Sorry, I have this quick finger that ends up making it go too fast. But basically, guys, go on there, see the video. I'm excited about it. I hope you can be excited about it. I really think when we give and give to other people, we can actually see that blessing come back to us in so many ways. And I think it's just an awesome opportunity for us to make ourselves known here in the community as well, and be able to make a difference. All right, we're going to see if it's coming on now. Not sure if you can hear either. Yeah, may not be showing, guys, sorry. Probably not showing. Not showing. Sorry about that. Okay, actually, back to this one, almost. If you're hanging on, thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, this one's going. I could start it over real fast just to see some of the stats. Maybe. And this is called Why Books Matter. So far they've done over 40,000. We would be a big contribution if we can add another 1,000 as our group. I think it would be incredible. So, okay, it's trying to play again. As you can see, some of the little quick pictures. But it's on the video, guys, on the main site. I hope you'll check it out. I really want to encourage each and every one of you. Again, it can make a difference. They're going to be there at our convention as well. We would like to be able to you know, hand them a nice big check of donations. The donation that you can make is right online. It will go directly to them. It's the Envita logo that you'll see on their website, and then on our website you can get to it as well. So guys, I want to encourage you, let's go make some difference for kids. Let's make difference for families. Let's make a difference in life, guys, with Envita. This is Michelle Wallace and Robert Wallace. We thank you for your time. You're growing yourselves and your business, and also that Envita cares, and we're going to make sure that we're doing things that matter for kids as well. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.